week charged with sadistic abuse that led to the 7-year-old's death. Jordan Duncan had 3 women were arrested this week charged with sadistic abuse that led to the 7-year-old's death. Jordan Duncan had been placed in their home by a court.
Prosecutors describe a house of horrors inside where they say 7-year-old Jordan Duncan was tied up in a bathtub and routinely tortured. 3 generations in one family were charged in her death Wednesday in what prosecutors called wicked and evil torture. Neighbors are horrified to learn the details of her December death after Emily Kelly called 911. An autopsy documented 90 injuries, including whip marks and internal stab wounds that caused a fatal infection. Prosecutors say the child missed 40 days of school, and in each case, Kelly provided an excuse, a family trip, or a death or illness. Prosecutors say not only did Kelly subject this child to horrific abuse and torture, but appallingly, she documented it with videos and casual text messages between her and her daughter. You can't hit her face, you gotta hit her body if you're gonna hit her. That's another thing we've gotta hide.
7-year-old Jordan Duncan should still be alive. Prosecutors say she died after months of alleged abuse and torture inside a Bayport, New York home where she had been placed in the care of her father's fiancée, Emily Kelly. Officials say Jordan suffered approximately 90 injuries and died from an untreated infection connected to sharp force injuries. They also say she missed about 40 days of school, while excuses were allegedly made to hide what was happening. 3 generations of women have now been indicted: Emily Kelly, her mother Barbara Renner, and her daughter Alyssa Seymour. All 3 have pleaded not guilty. But here's the question: who failed this baby before she died? CPS placed her there. Adults were supposed to check on her, and her relatives say they learned she was dead through a text message. A 7-year-old child needed protection. Instead, she was failed.
3 women were arrested this
Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. This is your Akim Drill Azil, back with another quick lesson. And you can tell by the open the topic. It's about these wicked ass Edomites, man. You know, I've seen multiple stories like this time after time. And a lot of these stories too, well, I'm going to just say some of these stories too consist of these wicked ass jakes, man. But that's what they do. They follow the example of the wicked, which is these Edomites, man. Where, you know, these wicked ass people, man, they pretty much go and attack, you know, harmless, pretty much, you know, children, man. You know, even though we know through the spirit, it could be twofold. You know, the soul within that child might have been wicked, and that could have been nonetheless a punishment that the Lord gave upon that child. Nonetheless, what they have done, the acts that they done, man, was wicked, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we all have done things that are worthy of death, you know, meaning we committed acts of sin. But the things that these Edomites done, they even stated that what? It was Salakia was
to the
wicked.
7-year-old's death. Jordan Duncan had been placed in their home by a court.
Prosecutors describe a house of horrors inside where they say 7-year-old Jordan Duncan was tied up in a bathtub and routinely tortured. 3 generations in one family were charged in her death Wednesday in what prosecutors called wicked and evil torture.
See, the prosecutors called what? Wicked and evil torture, man. It's who? These Edomites, man. Because they are the wicked, man. You know. So right there lets you know the heinous things, the heinous acts that these Edomites do. And this is a child, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much a defenseless child, you know. And these are grown adults. They said 3 generations. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That hatred is perpetuated generation after generation, man. You know what I'm saying? It's within them. They don't have an upright spirit. They are the wicked. And I'm going to go into the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 8 and 4. And it says, remember the wicked slaughtereth of harmless infants. So that's what these jokers did. And this in their spirits, man. They don't care, man. There's numerous instances. If I'm saying, I'm gonna say there's numerous instances. So like the devil trying to incidents. Yeah, that's better. Trying to slur my speech. Incidents, of these Edomites doing heinous crimes to children, man. Cause that's what they do. Cause they're weak, so that's what they do. They prey on the weak, which are mainly they prey on the weak, and they try to find ways that they can attack others at their vulnerability. That's why they use technology. That's why they use chemicals. That's why they use other weak individuals to attack other individuals. Because I'm already experienced that myself. Not to talk about me, but I already know you have these wicked ass Edomites. They try to join hand in hand with these simple ass, envious, wicked ass 2/3 to attack me, to justify. That's what these pale faces do. They try to band up with some other nigga or some foreigner or a collective of all to attack me, because they know they can't do it alone, because it exposed them for who they are, meaning that perpetual hatred. So they have a simple ass 2/3 nigga, which they've been doing this since back in bondage. It's called a meritorious manumission, a meritorious manumission. If I'm pronouncing it correct, like I said, that's what these devils do. They're trying to find ways to slur your speech through these they know how these devils, they've been studying the human body. They know what triggers what when it comes to the nervous system. But anyway, the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 8 and 4, again, it says, remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants and the blasphemies committed against his name, and that he would show his hatred against the wicked. So we will hope that the Lord will show his hatred against these wicked ass damn people, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to make this subject long, but right there, it shows you, when even the press is giving true characteristics of it. It says what? Wicked, a house of horrors, man. Jake been living real horror movies, man, especially since we was in hardcore bondage, man. We're living real horror-like movie. This fucking place is, and actually, this place is not an American dream. It's an American nightmare, man. But nonetheless, Jake had been living real horror movies, man. And what they say, a real life house of horrors, and what words they use in comparisons to the acts that they done to this child, man. Wicked, man. Because that's what they are. The Edomites are the wicked, man. Their soul is not upright, man. I'm going to read that again. And that's what it is. They got these systems set up where, Jake is put in, they're not conscious. They're the system is set to put the man against the woman. The female will get benefits. They end up making poor decisions in regards to their life, and end up what? The child end up in foster care. It may be, I don't know the circumstances. She could have lost her family. I'm not sure why this little girl had end up in foster care, but I'm going through the possibilities, man. I'm giving examples. But nonetheless, this society, this system is built to put the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans at a disadvantage, where they make poor decisions like this, and kids end up in situations like this, wars to the state. And then devils like that do what? They go through the system, and now they have the perfect alibi to commit these heinous acts towards, Jake, man. adopt them, and now they become now these devils can live out their fantasy of what? Torturing, killing, doing these heinous acts towards you, man. 2 Maccabees 8:4 says, remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants. Like, this child was harmless, man. She was defenseless. She was pretty much harmless, But what they did, they bound, tied her up, and did heinous things to her, man. He said she had, over 90, if I ain't mistaken, injuries, man. That's a lot of injuries, man. Whip marks, stab wounds. These jokers, man, they the devil, man. They got a lot to pay for. And that the blasphemies committed against his name, and that he would show his hatred against the wicked, man. The Lord would show his hatred against the wicked, man. And that's what we waiting for, man. The Lord to break down this whole wicked society filled with these wicked ass fucking Edomites, man. But I'm ending off there, man. Hope the body was edified. Till next time, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Again, this your Akim Adrilazil. Lord willing, I'll be back with another lesson. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatham, and the Baba Shalom.
Horror. 3 women were arrested this week charged with sadistic abuse that led to the 7-year-old's death. Jordan Duncan had been placed in their home by a court.
Prosecutors describe a house of horrors inside where they say 7-year-old Jordan Duncan was tied up in a bathtub and routinely tortured. 3 generations in one family were charged in her death Wednesday in what prosecutors called wicked and evil torture.